What is going on, everyone? Platinum Beast coming at you with yet another video. Today we are going to be doing episode 34 of the Platinum Beast Answers series. I look forward to getting into the comments that you all left for me down below on last week's video. So with all that being said, let's get into it. Okay guys, so we got some great comments on last week's video, and we're just going to go ahead and dive right on into them. So, up first, we have Mr. Jack. And Mr. Jack says, your pickup truck sounds kind of cool, LOL. I wouldn't mind something like that as my next vehicle. Have a supercharged Mustang now, which I like a lot, but trucks are also cool in their own way. You know, it's funny. I actually traded in a Mustang for my pickup truck. Mine was not supercharged or anything fancy like that, but it was a cool little fun car I got. I bought it brand new back in the day. It was 2011. I think it was a V6. I know everyone rags on the V6s and stuff like that, but I don't know. It was a fun car. It was super cool. I hope to have another one day. But I decided to trade in for a pickup truck because that is kind of really what my heart and soul is after. But I love driving my pickup truck, and I've customized it a lot. That's another thing about me. I love customizing pretty much any vehicle I have. And, you know, I love changing everything with aftermarket parts. So I usually buy the base version of something if I buy a car, and usually modify it to my liking. But that's just me. That's something I like to do that's unique. I know a lot of people don't really like doing that because, you know, they think it's a waste of money. But the amount of joy that I get every day when I drive my car, you know, it never gets old, right? It's not just a plain old car. It's my car, and I've done a lot to it, and I am pleased with the outcome. It's very cool. Who knows? Maybe I'll post a picture one day. We'll see. But it is a fun, cool car, and if you don't have a pickup truck, I highly suggest getting one because they're super, super fun. The Mustangs are cool too, though. I really like that. And my truck is an F-150, so I'm a big Ford guy, so I think me and you might get along pretty well, Mr. Jack. But thank you for your comment, bud. I really appreciate it. Up next, we have Mr. Benny Benny. Mr. Benny Benny says, no questions today. Just want to say Happy Mother's Day. Well, thank you, Benny Benny. I really appreciate that. And shout out to all the mothers out there. I know the majority of my viewers, at least according to YouTube's numbers, are males. There are some females that do watch my channel. So if there are any mothers that see this video, happy belated Mother's Day. Shout out to all the mothers out there. You know, they work a hard job, you know, that goes pretty much underappreciated at all times. And to all the mothers, I applaud you for the work you do. And as a man, I will probably never really have to know what all you have to go through, but I have a guess, and my guess is that it is a lot more than I would ever probably want to have to deal with. So shout out to the moms, all the moms out there. But thank you for your comment, Mr. Benny Benny. I really appreciate it. Up next, we have Mr. Aloha Stacker. Mr. Aloha Stacker says, love these Q&As. Unfortunately, right now, no questions for you. Looking forward to next week. And we've got a couple of replies. Cool to learn you're a veteran. Thank you for your service. Aloha Stacker said, thank you, my friend. Yeah, thanks both of y'all, Trident and Aloha. Y'all two guys are the guys, right? I didn't serve in the military myself, but I applaud all of the service men and women, including Aloha, which I'm pretty sure I've mentioned at least once to him, and perhaps Trident as well. But nevertheless, you never can thank our servicemen and women enough. So thank you, gentlemen, and thank you, anybody who watches this who may happen to be a service member. We applaud you. All right, up next, we have Mr. Butterbeans. Says, no questions today. All right, Mr. Butterbeans, well, I still appreciate you stopping by and checking out the video and dropping me a comment. Really appreciate that, my friend. Up next, we have the T. Cooper, 50. Hey PB, I have palladium jewelry, a whole line by QVC back in the 2000s. Was being sold. I got almost every piece they had, rings, earrings, bracelets, etc. I've been stacking since early 2000s. I like my jewelry to be bullion grade. So when I buy gold jewelry, I only buy high carat gold jewelry, like 21, 22, 24 carat. Wow. That's pretty epic. And you know, the jewelry side of things, I have not dove into very much, but that is a very, very cool side of precious metal investing. You know, but realistically, I would like to see more jewelry put out, especially in the palladium and platinum field. I really think it would help move platinum along quite a bit. As far as jewelry is concerned, though, I've met many people who have bought precious metal jewelry in years past and didn't even realize that spot price increased so much. And then when they went to go sell it, they're like, whoa, I've made a lot of money. So even though there's high premiums, you know, if you're holding for a very long time, and jewelry typically is somewhat of an heirloom slash, you know, you don't really go selling that unless you absolutely have to. So a lot of people hold on to jewelry for a long time. And after all that time has passed, typically the price has increased so much that they make a nice little profit that they didn't even know they had. So jewelry, I'm all for jewelry. A lot of people don't like it, but I'm all for it. And that's super cool that you have all that jewelry. And you go for the high content even on the gold, which is super epic too. Because like I'm sure you know, most people just wear like 14, 18 karat gold. And having 21, 22, 24 really benefits you a lot. It's a little bit more fragile, I'm sure, but I'm sure it benefits you a whole lot. So thank you for your comment, my friend. I really appreciate it. And who knows, T. Cooper, 50. Maybe you can start posting some videos of some of that jewelry for all of us to see, because I think that'd be pretty cool. Okay, up next we have, again, the T. Cooper 50 said, I heard that platinum was used as money and or currency in the history of Russia. Can you reference where I can find this information? Do you know about this? By the way, great channel. Keep up the great work. So that was one of my very, very early videos. If you go way, way back into my early days, I'm talking like first few weeks, I think even, of my YouTube channel, I made a video specifically talking about this, but I'll kind of give you a little bit of a rundown while I'm here. So yes, platinum was used as actual money in Russia. I believe they were called rubles. And I believe they came in 3, 6, and 12 rubles, right? Now, the 6 and 12, I believe, were held mainly by government officials, so I don't think many of them made it out into circulation. And those go for very, very, very high cost. Now, the 3 rubles, if I'm stating that correctly, that was the main circulating currency, and it was made out of platinum. So when you find those, you can find those for a little bit better price, and I would love to have that in my stack one day. They are higher premium than your average stack. And a 3 ruble, I believe, is a quarter ounce of platinum or close to it. Now, the quarter ounce of platinum goes for about $400 in today's market, or that's a fair price, maybe. The ruble is going to cost you like $700, $800. So you're going to pay almost double what you would for a regular quarter ounce, but it's really a historic piece, and it's a collector's piece more so than just stacking platinum. But it was used as actual currency in Russia. Now, they only used it for a short amount of time, and the thing about it was they realized that the work they had to put into actually making the coins just didn't satisfy the need or the cost involved. The reason I assume that they did it, and I'm pretty sure I talked about it, was mainly because a lot of platinum, most platinum, is mined in Russia. The only other place that mines it a whole bunch is South Africa. Now, it is mined a little bit in other countries, but mainly South Africa and Russia, and really more so Russia, is the main producer of palladium and platinum. And so because they were mining so much of it, they probably figured they could get it at a very low cost because they didn't have to transport it very far. So if they could make their money out of it, and that money would last for pretty much ever because platinum is a very dense metal, more likely than not, it would benefit them to make their currency out of platinum, but it just is so difficult to work with and make into coins that they just kind of gave up on it after a little while. But it is very cool to know that it was actually used as currency, similar to the pre-33 gold and the silver coinage that many different countries used. The same thing happened with platinum in Russia. So that's an interesting point, an interesting topic for sure. I'll try to link the video in your comment on here. I'll have to go back after I finish recording this. But yes, sir, Russia did use platinum in their circulating bullion currency. So that's a great point to point out, is that it has been used as currency. Many people don't realize that. Okay, so up next we have Mr. Jim C. Mr. Jim C says, another great auction weekend. My best win this weekend is a 2010 gold Discover Australia half-ounce koala PCGS proof shipped to my door for $916.52. Also won a 1992 Canadian Platinum half-ounce Cougars shipped to door for $720.67. Platinum was NGC PC PR69 Ultra Cameo. I love auctions. Dude, you gotta hook me up with that auction site, my man. You gotta let me know. I'm gonna dig through my email to see if maybe it was in the junk or something. But I'd love to know where you're buying these great finds and great auctions. But those are awesome pickups, my friend. You got a koala and a Canadian cougar, both half ounces. So you added an ounce to your stack, which is epic, my friend, and more than almost anybody else in the world actually has. Some of us stackers do stack platinum, and we do have over an ounce, but very, very, very few people have an ounce or more. So props to you, my man, for stacking the plat like a real platinum beast. And hopefully we can figure out our communication issues in private messaging. So thank you for your comment, my friend. I really appreciate it. And up next, we have Mr. Jumpy Liam. Mr. Jumpy Liam says, hi, newcomer to the channel and precious metals here. I live in the UK, and here we need to pay 20% VAT on platinum and silver. Do you think platinum in this case is still worth buying and holding? Your videos are really helpful. Thanks. You know, Jumpy Liam, the thing about the VAT in Europe, or at least the UK, I'm not sure if the union is different, but I believe there's still taxes in Europe as well. You know, a lot of countries haven't really figured out that they shouldn't be charging taxes on precious metals, but however, even with that 20% VAT, yeah, I would still say platinum's a solid buy, because let me explain something to you, okay? So I don't have them out here right now, but a lot of my 1 ounce platinum coins I purchased below $1,000. The cheapest coin I got for a full ounce was $711. And that was last March. Not 2 months ago, March, but a year and 2 months ago. And I bought that for $711. And on average, my first 10 ounces was around probably $8.50 an ounce, average. And spot price has gone back up to almost $1,300. It did break $1,300 for a brief moment. And it's back down to like $1,250 right now. So I've made about $400 on my purchase. Now, that I would say is about 20 to 25%. So realistically, had you bought back then and paid a 20% tax, you more likely than not would either be even, break even point at spot price with tax, or even up a little bit. So I would still suggest picking it up. Same thing with silver really, but I would suggest maybe more so platinum. I'm not really sure. I think platinum is a little bit more collectible, so you can get a little bit more of your money out of it in that aspect. Especially if you're already paying such a premium, you might as well buy something that is going to hold a collector's value. And pretty much any platinum you buy is going to have collector value attached to it. It just simply is, because the mintage is so low every year on pretty much every coin. It's hard to find older backdate coins, and they go for higher premiums always. It always is that way. So I would still suggest, yes, purchasing platinum. Maybe stick to more so gold. I hate telling someone that, but with 20% tax, I mean, even I would probably kind of sway more towards gold being tax-free. Now, if it was the same tax across the board, obviously platinum. But the fact that you can buy platinum for 20% or gold for not 20% VAT, it's a tough pill to swallow, but I still suggest you get some platinum, my friend. So thank you for your comment, my friend, and I really need to look more into the VAT and all the rules and regulations because I've got a lot of European and a lot of, I guess, British or people from the United Kingdom viewers on my channel, so I really need to kind of be up to date on all of the European Union as well as the UK and the rules and policies and taxes and things like that. But great comment, and thank you, my friend, and welcome to the stacking community. As you mentioned, you were new to the precious metals and new to my channel, so welcome to my community as well. Glad to have you, my friend. And last but not least, we have Mr. Jack again. Mr. Jack says, kind of strange question, but it's one I haven't really been able to figure out. I've been in the YouTube precious metals community for about a year now, and I've noticed most people seem to lean conservative who are in it. Any theory as to why that may be? Is it something about the mindset or worldview of conservatives, which seems to fit with metals and coins? I don't personally care what someone's political views are as long as they're being objective and factual. People can reach different conclusions via their own experiences. That's fine. On the other hand, Dave Ramsey, who says he teaches biblically based finance, can't stand precious metals. I don't know. It's just been an interesting thing I've thought about for a while and can't seem to figure out cause and effect. Okay, so this is a really big question, and we're gonna go through it thoroughly, and then we're gonna get into what the replies were. But I'm sure they'll somewhat line up, hopefully, with what I have to say. So, to answer the first part of your question, YouTube stacking community about a year now, and I've noticed most people seem to lean conservative who are in it. Any theory as to why that may be? Okay, conservatism, at least in the American standpoint, right? I believe it may seem a little different or come off as being a little different, and depending on what country you are from. But in America, conservatism, and I'm a conservative, I'll admit it, I, like you, don't care what someone's political views are. That's not the point of my channel. I don't really get into my political views too much on here, really at all, other than just mentioning here or there what I stand for in a way. But being a conservative and it tying into the stacking community so heavily, I would have to say it really boils down to having, and it's been a shift in recent times, in recent years and things like that, more so recently than in the previous time. The left side of things has become more and more liberal, right? The conservative side of things, there's an argument to be made. It's become more conservative. I don't really understand that as much. But the liberal side of things has become more and more liberal and has leaned more and more socialist over time. And the socialist ideology really kind of boils down to a lot of government programs and a lot of the government taking care of the needs of the people, right? And stacking is taking care of your own needs. It's saving money for the future for you, to secure yourself, to secure your wealth, to make sure you are covered. The liberals and the left side of things lean more on the government taking care of you. It's just their way of thinking. I don't hate on anyone who may happen to be a liberal or left wing. But that is a lot of what their platform stands for, and a lot of what the politicians in the party really kind of gear themselves towards, at least preaching it, right? Like, I have yet to see a successful implementation of anything like that, but because of that, I think it all boils down to the mindset, right? The right, conservatives and the like, they very strongly believe pull yourself up by your bootstraps. No one is responsible for you but yourself. Wherever you are in life is nobody's fault but your own, right? It's very, very hard, tough love kind of thing, right? That's not to say we don't care about people. We don't care about others. Obviously we do. Sometimes extremely, right? In the case of being pro-life, right? We care about those unborn children. and things like that. But being so much depending on yourself more than depending on the government, I think that's what stacking is, and that's why more stackers are conservative than the other. Now, I'm sure there are liberal stackers out there. In fact, I posed a question a long time ago on Reddit about this, and there were quite a few liberals. And they had a different mindset, and they were more what you would call like an old-time liberal or an old-time Democrat. And they had a mindset of, I'm all for, being wealthy, but at the same time, we can still afford to help people out. And like I said, conservatives aren't against helping people. They're just against the government implementing and mandating it. Because the government, at least in America, and at least what it appears to the people, is they say that they're going to provide a program for you, and that's what the increase in taxes are for. And 95% of that extra tax money you spend doesn't even go to the program typically that they said they were going to go to. So if they say we're going to add $100 to your taxes and it's going to pay for people's health care, $95 of that most likely is not going to go to health care, and it's just going to go to something stupid like research for something that we don't even need to be researching or whatever. The government is terrible at managing money. That's just the thing. And stacking is a great way to manage money. So that's what it really boils down to as far as the first part of your question, I think. Let's see what else your question asks. Is it something about the mindset or worldview? Okay, yeah, that's pretty much what I answered. I don't personally care what someone's... On the other hand, okay, so down here, again, I'm a conservative. I don't care what my viewers are, right? I don't care if you're liberal, conservative, whatever. I don't care. I'm a stacking channel. I love stacking. If you love stacking, we'll get along just great. Down here at the bottom of your question, it says, on the other hand, Dave Ramsey, who says he teaches biblical-based finance, can't stand precious metals. I don't know. Just been an interesting thing I've thought about for a while and can't seem to figure it out. Figure out cause and effect on. Okay, so Dave Ramsey, right? I love Dave Ramsey. He's come to my church. He's spoken. He's a really cool guy. Conservative all the way. Great financial guy. One thing I want to mention about him and his stacking ideas and thoughts and stuff like that. He believes in investing. He believes in your money making you money. And he also does not believe in debt, right? And I think what really kind of sways his view is what he's seen precious metals do over the long haul. Precious metals, they don't make a lot of money. A lot of people are buying into this hype these days. They don't make a lot of money. But that's not the point of stacking. And so because it's not the point of stacking, Dave Ramsey really kind of has a hard time wrapping his mind around it. Now, he's talked to people and he's had people on his show that have talked about how they have precious metals and they were wondering whether or not they should sell them to pay off debt. And I don't think that's such a bad idea, right? I do think stacking's smart, but if you have a lot of debt, take care of that debt first. Or if it's not a high interest rate or something, then at least make sure you're consistently taking care of it while stacking as well, But as far as him and not getting into the stacking, he just, I think he sees more value in like the stock market and investing and stuff like that than he does in preserving your wealth, so to speak, right? A lot of us stackers, we like the idea that we make probably more money off precious metals than a savings account at a traditional bank could ever really give us. Now, precious metals do that, but stocks will make you even more money. But there's a little bit more risk involved with stocks, and I don't think Dave Ramsey really sees that difference. And just as far as Dave Ramsey, I mean, like I said, he's a good guy. He's come to my church and spoken. I've seen him before. He's got the Financial Peace University. He's helped tons of people get out of debt. That's his main goal, is to help people get out of debt, right? A lot of people rag on the guy because he has different views and things like that. But realistically, he helps people get out of debt. That's his main goal. and his main goal is just financial stability, which it's kind of funny, I'll admit, that he doesn't like stacking. But I think he just simply thinks your money could be put somewhere better, if that makes sense. And perhaps he's right, but at the same time, that better place is only better because it makes you money, but you're not weighing in the risk. So he just has a different view, a different point of view. A lot of people don't really like stacking, and that's okay. They just don't understand things like we do, right? But let's go ahead and see what some people said to replies. Counter Crow said, "Isn't it obvious private property rights don't exist in the leftist utopian ideology?" Yeah, I mean, exactly. Pretty much. They believe the government, should come in and handle things because the people are selfish and greedy and all this stuff, but it's just mostly people that were never really taught how to save and how to take care of themselves. Notice the clues even in the word rights itself. They don't call it private property lefts, do they? Rights have rights. Right is right. Oh, I love that. But yeah, what he said kind of makes sense. And then it looks like you replied, Jack. You said, if it's as simple as that, why doesn't Dave Ramsey like metals? He doesn't recommend people own them at all. The money guy is another good financial advisor and seems conservative. He doesn't like metals either. Seems like it's something nuanced about how people think about metals. It definitely is. I think it really boils down to people just wanting to hold their wealth and to have their money, right? If you're holding paper money, it's burning a hole in your pocket is what it's doing, right? It's losing value every year. Every year that $100 bill gets $2 less pretty much. So that $100 buys $98 in good, buys $96 in good, buys $94 in good. It's just burning a hole in your pocket. It's going nowhere fast. Precious metals, on the other hand, they slowly go up every year. Even if it's just 2%. 2%. I would say that's probably where we're at. Some years are bad, some years are really good, but overall, I'd say it's about, I haven't really done the percentage. That would be an interesting video to do on the percentage over the past, 20 or 30 years if you would have bought precious metals. Obviously, if you would have invested in Apple 20, 30 years ago or Amazon 20, 30 years ago or whatever, you would have made a lot more money. But the risk. And so I really think those guys probably value fiat a little bit more than we give them credit for. And I don't think they worry too much about inflation and things like that. I don't know why they do that, right? But even conservatives, that's not a very strong platform. Yes, we don't want the government giving handouts, which in turn causes inflation. But at the same time, we don't exactly want them to give handouts because of inflation. We don't want them to give handouts because we want people to be self-sufficient and, pay taxes and all that stuff. And we don't want to pay taxes so that you can get a handout or other people who don't need it can get a handout. You know what I mean? Because when we pay taxes, we want it to go to legitimate stuff. We want it to go to our kids' schools. We want it to go to our infrastructure, our roads, all that stuff, police and stuff. But we don't want it to go to dumb research we don't need to be spending money on and just all this nonsense. So that's what I would say. More likely than not is they just don't give credit to inflation and they just don't see that being a big deal or as big a deal as we do. But yeah, that's just my thoughts, Jack, and that's my thoughts, everyone, on that topic. But great questions nonetheless, my friend, and I really appreciate you being a part of my channel. But you probably win the trophy today for best question for sure. That was a very long explanation, and I don't know how many people are still here in the video. But if you are a champ, my friend, and I really appreciate whoever you are stopping by, and appreciate you, Jack, for dropping that comment down below. Be sure to get your comments down below on this video. Be sure to hit that like button on your way out, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, guys, we will see ya.